Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. So I got some more test server footage for you guys today. Let me jump into the champion that we're going to be talking about for today. All right, so here he is, Wallmaster Othorion. Pretty cool champion. I mean, we were talking about high elves lacking a really good damage dealing champion, and this guy might actually fit that role for him. He's actually more than just a damage dealer. He actually has some a really interesting kit. So let's jump into his kit real quick here. He's got an A1, attack all enemy. That's an AoE, doesn't trigger counterattacks. That's really good when you consider things like the Head of Mischief, stealing counterattack, for example. It doesn't trigger it. That's great. It also fills his turn meter by 5% for each living enemy after the attack. So if you're attacking, for example, Hydra bosses, he's going to get 20% turn meter. Really good. 4 books for 20% damage here. Not the best value, but it is what it is. A little bit of damage doesn't hurt a damage dealer. His A2 big money hit here, double hit, first hit, 100% chance, fully booked, block buffs. That's really good. There's not too many AoE block buffs champions in the game. When I think about this move with damage dealers, I'm looking at Wukong, something similar. Anyways, he's got the block buff chance here, 100%. On the first hit, the second hit's going to place decrease attack. Great debuffs against Hydra. Also fills this champion's turn meter by 5% for each living head after the attack. So if you're attacking Hydra, that's 20% turn meter. Very solid. And his A3, he self buffs himself. Increase attack, increase accuracy, increase speed, 3 turns, and then an extra turn here on a 4-turn cooldown. So he basically has this up the whole time. He basically has it up the whole time. And yeah, he's going to do a ton of damage. His passive, every time, his max HP will go up by 20% every time he kills an enemy. And that includes Hydra heads. How cool is that? How cool is that? They actually include the text here for that. So I want to bring back the attention to his A2. His A2 is based on attack and enemy max HP. So any enemy max HP champion in this game usually does a ton of damage. Because it scales off the enemy's max HP. So bosses at higher difficulty will yield the most damage. Pair that with this kind of champion where he self-buffs himself, and then he has AoE upon AoE, and then he has ways to gain more turn meter for more turns and so forth. It's going to be really powerful. You know, it's exciting to see him in the game, to see what he can do. So for artifacts, I have him built in Relentless, kind of to maximize extra turns. He's basically in the same gear that I have like my roll guard in, for example. He has a bit of accuracy to land his debuffs, but he doesn't need as much because he has increased accuracy in his kit already. Counterattack for his A1, counterattack accessories for his A1s are really nice, so he gets extra A1s off. You could go refresh accessories as well, so you can get an extra A2s. His A2 is going to be his big money hit here. We don't know his multiplier yet, so we just can only imagine that it's probably going to be tempered slightly because his moves could be too powerful. Base attack's a little bit low, 1454, so that's probably one way to limit his impact. He does have the base crit damage and a little bit accuracy and resistance to go along in his build. Masteries here, I went down to War Master. I mean, you can definitely go with Helm Smasher, but I think the way I have him set up is that he's probably going to be close to damage capping with defense down. So I got 280 crit damage here, 234 speed. Not much attack and not much HP, to be honest. But I went down to War Master just because I feel like he'll probably be capped if I go Helm Smasher more often, or if I go with Flawless Execution, he'll probably be capped a little bit too easily. Damage capped, I mean. Because there is a cap for damage for max HP damage dealers. I went down for extra turns on his buffs. Probably not needed because they're 3-turn buffs on a 4-turn cooldown, so he's probably not needed for this. So you can definitely take something else. I don't really see anything that's going to be too impactful here. This is not too impactful. And then this one, you're already 100%, so you don't need this. This one's pretty good, Hexers, so you get extra debuff turns. So his block buffs, for example, decrease attacks. Psycho Magic for extra max HP bombs, extra bombs, some extra damage along the way, and some accuracy to help him out. But yeah, these stats are pretty much overkill. These stats are probably probably going to be good for Nightmare Hydra. I don't have Nightmare Hydra access right now, so I'm just testing with whatever I have. But yeah, let's jump into some playtests and see what he can do. All right, guys, so we can do some damage testing here against Spider 20. So on Spider 20, there's no cap on the enemy max HP hit. So we can do like a rough comparison here. It's not going to be perfect, of course, just because the gear levels and so forth are not identical. But I can show you guys the gear and relative comparison afterwards. But let's try to do this here. We'll slow it down here. So I'm going to open with the decreased defense and weaken. Nope, never mind. We're going to open with Gnut's the fastest. Oh no, how embarrassing. All right, so we're going to open with the decreased defense and weaken. All right, so now we're going to self buff with Othorion. He's got the increased attack now. Okay, so attack enemies twice. So it's a 100% chance for all these debuffs, and he has an enemy max HP hit. So let's see what he can do on the Big Mama. Boom, boom. Looks like 550 plus 640, so about 1.2 million. Okay, guys. Let's see what Cold Heart can do with her Cold Heart Seeker. 1.7. So he does 1.2 and she does 1.7. And what does Gnut do on one slam? 1.4. So, you know, relative gear comparisons. I don't think my Cold Heart is the best gear. I think he's probably the worst geared. But Othorion was doing significantly less damage than both these champions in total damage. So, but it kind of makes sense because his AoE max HP hit also brings some debuffs. So he has added utility that way. So if you gave him a full out damage, if his damage was more than these two and he provided debuffs and it was AoE, I think that's a little bit too much for a non-void, non-mythical champion, I think. So overall, I think it's probably okay, but he's not going to bring the insane damage, kind of like these two. All right, just sped through the waves here. We're on Dragon 20. Let's see what he can do for his max HP hit against the Dragon here. It is negative affinity, so that was probably not the best bet here. But let's see if we can get lucky and... oh, no decreased defense either. Let's see what he can do here. Yeah, I mean, that's about... You know, that's about 500k, right? 240 per hit. I mean, nothing too insane, but... All right, let's try again. Load it up. All right. Try again. I accidentally hit the A1 there, so my bad. All right. Let's see what he can do. He's loaded up. Boom, boom. Okay, that's with weekend. So he does about 560 with the weekend. Let's see what Seer does. Seer, what's Seer gonna do here? I mean, it's not going to be a good comparison here. Let's put the weekend on just to have a proper comparison. Okay. Don't kill him. Okay, now Seer comes in and nukes him for 586. So 586 from Seer with only one buff on each enemy. I mean, you know, he's not going to be an insane max HP damage dungeon crawler like boss killer. But obviously his utility is going to be very good with the block buff. So let's see what he does in Hydra. Sorry guys, there was a little bit of an issue with the recording. So I was doing normal difficulty, which is not the best difficulty for any max HP hitter. So I had him at doing 13.5 million versus Razzlevarg. Razzlevarg's geared pretty good, so keeping up with Razzlevarg I think is pretty strong. Harima with the Lady Mikage obviously going to do tons and tons of damage here. But I think his damage will be scaling higher. Obviously, if he does brutal or nightmare difficulty, I don't have that unlocked right now. But yeah, we can definitely check him out. I think his place is going to be in Hydra because he brings the decreased attack and then the block buffs, which is really, really good. He can also self-sustain himself if you guys don't have like an increased attack champion or anything like that. He's also going to be very good in any kind of ally attack situation where he can just use his A1 over and over. Also, his build can also be kind of flexible because he does have his A1 ally attack. oh sorry, A1 AoE. So you can build him out in like a curse set and take advantage of him applying hex all the time. That might be a viable option. You can also go full nuke and go savage gear, for example. I went relentless since relentless is kind of like a safe Hydra build and just general good build, good gear set overall. For example, you can't really curse set and like dungeons don't really work too well, but yeah, you could definitely build him up in full savage and see what he does. But I think full savage might be like overkill for his max HP hit here, for example. But yeah, I think overall we kind of showcased what he was able to do with his max HP against dungeons that don't have max HP capped. So dragon, spider. He does less damage than Cold Heart or Gnut, for example, with his max HP hit. But you know, the utility is very strong, and for a strong utility damage dealer, I think he's actually not too bad. So definitely a viable, worthy champion. If you have him, build him out, use him for Hydra. He can do some work for you there. So anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick showcase here for Othorion. Yeah, damage dealer for the high elves. Looking forward to seeing what else you can do, maybe at the higher difficulties. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time as always. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Othorion, and I'll see you guys in the next video.